My name is Ellis Laughter. I'm a Navy veteran. I served aboard USS Iwo Jima, LHD-7, the same class of ship as the USS Boxer, LHD-4, that's currently steaming toward the Strait of Hormuz. I was the damage control petty officer for a time for my division. I know these ships, I know what they can survive, and I know what they can't. What I'm about to say is something I wrote as a concerned veteran and American citizen 3 days ago. It's not partisan, it's tactical, economic, and historical fact. Warfare has changed drastically in the past 5 years. The primary killer on the modern battlefield is the FPV drone, commercially available, $500 to $1,000, modified in a garage. In Ukraine, they account for the majority of casualties. Soldiers, vehicles, exposed personnel. Iran has them. The proxies have them. And Marines landing on a beach or paratroopers dropping from the sky are exactly the kind of slow-moving, exposed targets FPV drones were designed to destroy. Iran also fields the Shahed 136, a longer-range attack drone with a 1,000 to 1,500-mile range, and an 88-pound warhead. That's the infrastructure and logistics weapon. That's what's been hitting the Gulf ports, airports, and oil facilities. That's what overwhelms ship defenses. Iran launched over 2,000 of them in the first 6 days of this war. 2 amphibious ready groups are steaming toward the Strait of Hormuz right now. USS Tripoli, LHA-7, a brand new America-class amphibious assault ship, departed Okinawa 11 March, carrying about 2,200 Marines of the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit. They don't have a well deck. To land those Marines on a beach, they fly them in on Ospreys and helicopters. Each Osprey holds 24 combat-loaded Marines. That's 90-plus sorties through whatever Iran is throwing at them. That's not an assault, that's a massacre in waves. USS Boxer, LHD-4, a Wasp-class amphibious assault ship, departed San Diego 18 March, carrying about 2,200 Marines of the 11th MEU. I know this ship. I served on USS Iwo Jima, LHD-7. Same class, same design, same vulnerabilities. I was the damage control petty officer for my division. Here's what these ships can't survive. LHDs and LHAs were built to project power, not survive coordinated drone swarms in confined waters. They have 2 Sea-Whiz mounts, each with roughly 20 seconds of sustained fire before the ammunition is gone. Rolling airframe missiles, 21 rounds, 2 launchers. Sea Sparrows, 8 rounds, 2 launchers. After 3 or 4 dozen drones, every defensive round is expended. Iran would be tactically foolish not to use cheap drones as decoys first, forcing ships to burn through those interceptors before the real attack comes. Once those ships enter the strait within range of Iran's coastline, the FPV threat becomes real. And if even one gets through to a radar array or a missile system, the ship's entire defensive picture degrades. We're shooting million-dollar interceptors at $35,000 drones until we run out. And then the $500 drones finish the job. There's no sonar on an LHD or LHA. 0. Subsurface protection depends entirely on dedicated escort vessels. The Tripoli ARG has a Ticonderoga-class cruiser and an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer providing coverage. The Boxer ARG has no confirmed anti-submarine escort. It's sailing blind underwater toward the most contested waterway on Earth. You don't have to sink an LHD to take it out of the fight. Hit the rudder. It's 40,000 tons that can't steer in the Strait of Hormuz. It's a crisis regardless of whether it's on fire. A subsurface drone detonated under the keel doesn't punch a hole. it breaks the ship's back. That's how Iran's allies sank the ROKS Cheonan in 2010. One underwater detonation, ship snapped in half. Iran already defeated F-35 stealth with passive infrared air defense systems, our most advanced aircraft, their cheapest countermeasure. This war launched on 28 February with vague, shifting justifications. One of them, like Iraq before, was nuclear non-proliferation. Iran was years from a functional weapon, assuming they even wanted one. Bombing a country doesn't stop a nuclear program, it accelerates it. But none of that matters now because the justification's changed. The stated objective today is reopening the Strait of Hormuz, the same strait that was open to international shipping until Trump, Hegseth, Kushner, and Witkoff started this war. Now they want to take Karg Island to force it back open. Here's what happens the morning after the flag goes up on Karg. Iran mines the strait, not interdiction mining, full denial mining. Every shipping lane, every approach. Clearing naval mines is work measured in months, not days. The strait through which 20% of the world's oil flows goes dark. Oil hits $200 a barrel, maybe $250. Your gas hits $10 a gallon. Food prices spike because food requires fuel to grow, transport, and refrigerate. Everything goes up, not just gas, everything. That's your wallet. That's the wallet of every Republican voter who voted for this. Iran simultaneously activates every proxy, Iraqi militias, Houthis, what's left of Hezbollah, all striking U.S. assets regionally at once. Gulf state infrastructure targeted, Saudi oil facilities, UAE ports, Qatar's LNG terminals. The energy market doesn't just spike, it fractures. Taiwan manufactures the semiconductors in your phone, your car, your TV, and the guidance systems in the missiles we're currently firing. Taiwan's fabs run on Qatari LNG shipped through Hormuz. When COVID shut down chip production, you couldn't buy a car for 2 years. This is worse. Much worse. Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan are watching a country they depend on for security destroy the energy supply they depend on for survival without consulting them, without their vote, without any plan for what comes after. Now, let's talk about Israel. The United States and Israel launched this war together on 28 February. They went in with related but different objectives. Israel's primary goal was eliminating the Iranian missile and drone capability that has threatened Israeli cities for years. That goal has largely been achieved. Iranian air and missile forces have been significantly degraded. Israel got what it came for. The United States is still here. Israel does not import oil through the Strait of Hormuz. Israel's economy is not tanking from this. The American economy is. Allied economies are. Israel's objectives and American objectives have visibly diverged as this war has progressed. And America is now holding the bag on a crisis that no longer serves Israeli strategic interests either. We went in together. One of us got what it wanted. The other sending Marines through a drone-saturated strait to seize an island because a failed businessman in the White House needs a distraction. Meanwhile, Russia is receiving two extraordinary gifts from this conflict. First, the United States lifted sanctions on Russian oil exports, pumping billions directly into the Russian war machine. Second, Russia is providing Iran with targeting data, improving the accuracy of weapons killing American service members. The country that spent 3 years claiming to oppose Russian aggression just funded the enemy and called it strategy. China is watching all of this from an insulated position. Years of energy diversification, Russian pipelines, strategic reserves, quietly positioning itself as the stable alternative to an American-led world order, visibly crumbling under the weight of its own decisions. Iran is already allowing Chinese yuan-denominated oil cargoes through the strait while blocking everyone else. That's not a footnote. That's the future being written right now. As of today, 13 American service members are confirmed dead, 232 wounded, 16 aircraft destroyed. The USS Gerald R. Ford sidelined in Crete. This war has already cost American taxpayers over $25 billion, approaching $1 billion every single day. And the Pentagon is asking Congress for $200 billion more. Meanwhile, Trump cut health care for 15 million Americans and gutted food assistance for millions of children. Thousands of Marine and 82nd Airborne paratroopers are now staging for a ground assault that military experts across the political spectrum are calling catastrophic and strategically indefensible. Should they be reckless enough to drop paratroopers on Iranian soil, the casualties would be unsurvivable. Every serious military thinker from Sun Tzu forward said some version of this. Amateurs talk tactics, professionals talk logistics. Cheeto Jesus, Pee Wee Himmler, and G.I. Bro just shot the global logistics chain in the foot and handed the bill to every working person on Earth. They'll kill hundreds of Marines and sailors taking carg. They'll kill thousands more Iranians. All of it to keep a pedophile billionaire out of prison. These are my people. Republican voters did this. My name is Ellis Laughter. I'm a Navy veteran from Chattanooga, Tennessee. If you found this useful, share it. These are facts. Look them up. And then ask yourself who benefits from this war and who pays for it.